Greetings and welcome to the introduction to astronomy. In this week's misconception in astronomy, we are going to talk about science and religion and see if it is possible that science can disprove religion. And what do we know? Well, can science disprove religion? The quick answer is no. Now, what I mean by that is that there are simply certain things that cannot be scientifically tested. And therefore science has no way of proving or disproving them. And the existence or non-existence of a god or gods is something simply that does not apply under science. In order to do science, you have to be able to come up with things that can be tested. So how can we test the existence of a god? And there's simply no test that could be designed to prove or disprove that. So does that mean that God does or doesn't exist? It simply means it's outside of the realm of science and does belong to religion because it's not something testable. So if it is not something that can be tested, it's really outside of the realm of science altogether. Now, what science can do is disprove some religious beliefs. So things like perhaps the earth being flat or the sun moving around the earth. Well, those are things that have been clearly disproven. And although some religions may still teach those, they're not something that is actually they are something that science can disprove. So while science can disprove certain beliefs that might be held by one religion or another, they can't really disprove the entire religion. Now, why? Well, religion is based on a faith. So it is not on science. You do not have to do religion does not require testing to say whether this is right or wrong. So you cannot test it using the scientific method, which is how we do things in science. And what that means in the scientific method is that you make a prediction and then you make a hypothesis to predict what would occur. So you make observations, you predict what will occur, you make your hypothesis to see, and then you test that and find out whether it was correct or not. And it's an ongoing process. So you're continually testing and refining in order to get to the best answer. Now, as you continue, then that it's a continuously refined method. Now, religion is based solely on faith, so it does not have to justify anything. And that doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong, just that it is not testable and is not part of science. So while science can't really disprove religion, it also can't prove and verify anything as well. What it can look at is various religious beliefs and find out if they are correct or not. So how old is the Earth? Is it 6,000 years old or is it 4.5 billion years old? Well, scientifically, we can say the Earth is 4.5 billion years old because we're able to make certain tests on it that show that it is vastly older than 6,000 years. And that is where the science comes in. So we can tie into exactly how things work there. But as to whether or not a god exists or not, or gods, that is not something that science can prove or disprove and will never be able to do so. So let's go ahead and finish up here with our summary. And what we looked at today was, first of all, that really science and religion are two very separate topics. You cannot prove or disprove either of them, but you can disprove certain religious beliefs as we looked at today. So that concludes this week's misconception on science and religion. We'll be back again next week for another misconception in astronomy. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.